Today's new date that I have for you on Daniel's timeline is a shocker, but it won't make any sense if you have not watched my previous 9 videos in the timeline called When Everything Changed. So take a look at those before you watch this video. Well, it's mid-November, and it's actually November 15th, 2022 when I'm recording this. And you can see that things have changed quite rapidly here, and we're already into winter. But I'm sitting out here in the cold to tell you something that is literally jaw-dropping. And when I learned of it, it was just as amazing to me as I think you'll find it to be. In our previous times together, I've been showing you events that have been taking place on the earth. And you may have an eyebrow raised and say, is this really true? And you're approaching all these topics with caution. Well, I want you to know that what I'm going to show you today proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it is really true. And I also think it's a good thing that you have been cautious about what you're hearing from me. So let's get started. It's very important for you to realize that I was learning these things over a long period of time. So back in 2007, when I learned that the scriptures teach that there was an issuing of a commandment that restored and rebuilt Jerusalem, and it wasn't the time that Israel was established, but it was the time of the issuing of the decree that began the prophetic clock. That was a big deal for me. So my eyes were open in 2007 to these things. But it wasn't until 2013 that I saw something that was extremely puzzling to me and quite profound, I thought. Eternal, and this didn't seem like any 7-year peace treaty. You see, I may be just like you. I was looking for a 7-year peace treaty to the beginning of the tribulation. And so when he said the covenant was eternal, that doesn't fit, right? So in 2014, I was in a congregation, a large congregation, worshiping the Lord. And I had my Bible open to Jeremiah, and I was looking at Jeremiah. And I was pondering these things. How could this be a 7-year covenant that began the tribulation? Nothing seemed to fit. And I was asking the Lord about that. And he actually responded back to me, and he said this, just as I was worshiping, he says, "Is that what I said?" And then I looked up and I said, "Well, I don't know." And immediately he snapped back in this attitude, "Well, look it up." There were 2 things that happened to me as a result of that. One, I was able to disconnect the tribulation from the confirming or the firming of the covenant to the many. And those 2 7-year periods are not necessarily connected. But I took it a little further. I went even a little further, and I began to believe that the 7-year tribulation was not a real thing, that it was a 3.5-year tribulation. And so that's, if you guys know me and you've been listening to me, I've been saying that a lot, that the tribulation is 3.5 years. So I want you to remember that point, because the Lord corrected me on that, and I'm going to show you at the end of this video. So May 25th, 2017 came along, and that's when I saw Obama go to Berlin and speak to the Protestant Reformation celebration. And I knew that event was significant, and I knew it fell in the midst of the week, but I wasn't sure that it was fulfilling prophecy. I was just like hanging on to it and just holding on to it. And I didn't know really what to think. And then in 2020, I honestly wasn't paying attention too much regarding the prophecies in the timeline. I was just like all of you guys. I was looking at the world events with this COVID pandemic, and I was not really paying attention to any specific dates like March 20th, 2020 or December 5th, 2020. Those did not come to me until much later. In fact, the date that they actually came to me, I'm just looking here on my notes, was September 25th, 2021. That's when I learned of March 20th. And then Nona wrote me in October, actually October 19th, 2021, and showed me the 1,290 days that led to December 5th, the rollout of the global injection. Now, what I'm about to say to you is very important, so listen carefully. In early 2020, I said that this global pandemic, which showed the power of the globalists, was the rolling out or the opening of the first seal judgment. And people took issue with me about that because they said, this is not the tribulation. And I was saying, well, no, I don't think it is either, because I believe that the tribulation comes after the sixth seal, the Great Tribulation, 3.5 years. But I saw the horse, the global horse that rode out conquering and to conquer, as it says in Revelation 6:2. And I was seeing the crown as the corona, which is the meaning of the word corona is crown, and the bow, the original Greek word is toxon, which we get our word toxin from. So this is what I was seeing as the first seal judgment at that time. And whether it's true or not, I believe the second and the third seal judgments have been opened as well. The second seal was the taking peace from the earth, that men shall slay one another, and a great sword was given to that rider. And the third seal judgment is inflation, and I believe we've been seeing that as well. And I've been waiting for the fourth seal judgment. So all that distraction was really an important part of the story, because it took Nona to write me on October 19th in 2020. Was it 20? Let's see. On October 19th, 2021. It wasn't until 2021. And she took me seriously. She actually said, Mitch, I counted 1,290 days. Do you know what happened on December 5th, 2020? So those 1,290 days after Obama sat in Berlin were very significant. And immediately it caused us to move on the 2,300 days also mentioned in Daniel. And we learned about the September 11th, 2023, and the cleansing of the sanctuary, which I believe is the start of the Great Tribulation, the 3.5 years. And just a little disclaimer right now, I'm not saying I know what's going to happen on that day. I'm not saying anything's going to happen on that day. But I do believe it's important in the heavens, and we'll have to all just wait and see. Let's just wait and see. But the next thing I have to show you is really where I'm trying to take you in this video. So if you have hung on to this point, listen to this. It is literally jaw-dropping. Oh man, I just can't even. Oh, this is just crazy, you guys. Listen to this. So I've said, I'm going to repeat it. I've said that the tribulation's only 3.5 years. And I've said that it starts on September 11th, 2023, when the sanctuary is cleansed and the two witnesses appear on the earth, the Jews and the Gentiles. But on a specific day, and I didn't record when that was, I was taking a shower and the Lord met with me, and he just said 5 simple words. He said to me, "You forgot to count backwards." And immediately I knew what he meant. He meant, go to September 11th, 2023 and count backwards. So I couldn't wait. I got out of the shower, I rushed to my computer, and for some reason, I put 1,260 days into my date calculator. And I came to March 30th, 2020. And I looked at that and I said, well, why is that significant? I couldn't find any reason it was. And then it dawned on me, maybe counting back 1,260 days is not the same as counting back 3.5 years, because I've grouped all these together. 1,260 days, 42 months, and 3.5 years. They're not the same. So I put 3.5 years into my date calculator, and what did I come to? March 11th, 2020. And when I looked it up, this is the first picture I saw. Oh my goodness, you gotta be kidding me. What happened on March 11th, 2020? The World Health Organization on March 11th, 2020 declares that COVID-19 is a global pandemic. It is the day everything changed and we entered into the 7-year tribulation. Yah has been stepping in my path to show me these things. And now he's stepping in your path to show you these things.